to see you here. Good afternoon. I'm here and I'm about to talk about career women battles housemaid, sex carpets, and randy husbands. Yes, you know, in life, nothing hurts a busy, hardworking wife more than to more than anything in this world than to think that while she's busy working and making a living and trying to take her own share of the family burden, her husband is busy romping in his steamy session with the maid, that is very, very disheartening. And sometimes it hurts so deeply that you don't even want to think about it. Here is a woman that have been out to fend for her family, to make sure that the family are okay, they are doing well, you understand, and all of a sudden the husband is just somewhere around the corner steaming with the housemaid that they have in the house, you understand. And an insight into the issue highlights the fact that the scenario plays out more in the homes of career women. Most of the time, this scenario, it plays out in more of women that are career women. Most times, those are the kind of people that their husbands are always involved in sleeping with their house help. So, ways to prevent sescapades between housemaid and your husband. You know, you know, ways to prevent this. One of the ways to prevent this is, many housemaids deliberately, yes, go out of their way to seduce their bosses, especially when they know that the wife is not always around. The wife is always out of the house to fend for the family, like all these career women. This housemaid, I don't know what they think in their head. Sometimes they come with the notion, with the intention to seduce the husband and to make the husband fall for them. You understand? Never, one of the ways is that never leave your housemaid alone at home with your hubby. Yes, most times you don't have to leave your husband at home alone with your husband. When you are going out, your husband is the type that doesn't go out at all. Maybe he's always home. Our advice, total abstinence from having a housemaid. You don't have a housemaid at all. I think they say prevention is better than cure. Some have to prevent something. Or if you're going to have, peradventure, you just need a housemaid, what you can do is look for a housemaid that will come during the morning session when you are leaving, when you still be at home. Maybe you come and do one or two things, and she takes a leave, you understand. Then maybe in the evening when you come back, or she's through for the day, or the maid that you are going to have, or somebody that you are going to have, is going to be somebody that will only come during the weekend when you will be at home. You understand? Never leave your husband at home with your household. Devise any means. You set her up. Either you set the housemaid up, and peradventure you have to. There's nothing, you just want to have a housemaid. One of the other thing that you can do is to set her up. Maybe you fix her in school. If you have a housemaid, it's not good for her to stay at home as you're leaving her to see she's leaving the house. You put her in school. Yes, you put her in school, or you fix her in a place where she can learn one or two things, one vocational job or trading. You understand? Take the children, you put her there. When it is time to take the children back home, she will go and bring the children and put them at home with her, so it won't be only her and the husband, and the way the children are going to engage her, she won't have the time to seduce your husband. We have devised any means, either you set her up, or when you take the children to school in the morning, take her along with you to work, and she would be around you in the office. You understand? Stay in the office till you close or you go home together. With doing that, the husband will not have the chance. It is better not to give chance to any temptation than to be sorry at the end of the day. Try as much as possible to avoid being in the house with your husband alone. Look for a middle age. Another thing you can do is to look for a middle age house help. Yes, a middle age house help who comes around the house in the morning. I said that before. Who comes around the house in the morning and leave at night. I think that is safer enough. It's safer enough. She's not a young lady that will come and wear mini skirts, in the house to seduce your husband. You don't want to do that. Then the problem is that if a man does not have a sexual restraint, there's a man that does not have a sexual restraint, they go for anything in skirt. They go for anything they see. Even the wife relation will be off limit to them. We have some men like that. Even the wife relation will be off limits to them. They don't know boundaries. They don't know boundaries. They sleep with anything in skirt. Anything they see, they just want to. Even if you have a middle age house help, it doesn't count. They still want to sleep with such person. Such man, you have to curtail how you make women and person of opposite sex to stay with them. If I'm going to take a relation as housemaid, you understand, I would rather take my husband's relation. You understand? That will help in a way that you can curtail. Sometimes, when you want to have somebody that will be in your house, it will have to be that is of opposite sex. I think going for somebody from your husband's relation is better when your husband is such that cannot, doesn't have that self-discipline, that anything he sees in skirt is to sleep with. You can make sure that people that comes around you are people that are from your husband's relation than someone from your own relation. There's some husband that they don't have boundaries. They don't care. If it's their husband, if it's the wife relation, it doesn't matter. They can sleep with such person. If it's a housemaid, they can sleep with such person. One of the things you can do is to absorb somebody from your husband's family. I think with that, he will not just sleep with the husband, with his own family. That is very, very sure. He will not sleep with someone from his own family. You understand? And if you know that you can't, just as I've said before, one of the things you can do is to engage your housemaid. Maybe put her in school, or establish for her, or she learn a vocational trade, that she won't have to stay at home with her husband. And I said again that one of the factors that contributes to husband sleeping with the housemaid sometimes is that some of these housemates seduce the husband. They come with the motive of coming to destroy home. They come with the motive of destroying home. So sometimes it's not the husband's intention, but when they wear mini skirts, when you are not at home, they are at liberty to do anything. You are not there to caution them. So some of them come with intention of sleeping with your husband, of seducing them. So because of that, it's either when you are going in the morning, you take the house help with you as a career woman, take her to wherever you are going, let her go with you. When you're there, when you're coming back home, she comes with you. As a result of that, she won't have to sleep with your husband. You engage her in school, or you engage her in vocational trade, or you set up something for her that will keep her busy and will not have to sleep with your husband. Those are the things I've said in the past. So as a woman, you have to be very, very careful. And if you know your husband is the type that sleeps with anything, that doesn't restrain himself, that doesn't, contain himself, doesn't have self-discipline, what you do is that you don't bring your relation in. If not, your husband will marry 2 wives from your relation or from your house. So if you are ready, that you want your sister, your cousin, or something to come and be second wife, then you can do that, knowing your husband fully well. And some women, you know your husband so well that is the type that sleeps with anything in skirt. But even at that, you still close your eyes to it. You don't want to be proactive, my dear sister. Being proactive is key. You must be proactive. Make sure you balance it. Find a way of not leaving your husband with any female counterpart in the house, you understand? So that to avoid story that touch you, So it may sound funny, you understand? Like someone is saying that you should take all these precautions. Yes, it might sound funny, but sometimes is the best, is what you can do. But because prevention is better than cure. For some women, employing such house help will be like having fire on one's roof and you're going to sleep. You can't put fire on your roof and you go to sleep. Lie. That is not possible. So as a woman, you have to let your head be working. You understand? No, I'm not saying you should suspect your husband. And I'm not saying your husband is this, but be proactive. I think you understand. Be proactive in dealing with all this household. Of course, it's not that you're suspecting them. You're not suspecting your husband, but you just want to put your home in order and you don't want your husband to impregnate your house. So, frequent cases of so many husbands sleeping with housemaids are enough to scare any woman from taking a house help. You understand? And housemaids are necessary evil. Do you get it? Housemaids sometimes are necessary evil. You don't take a minor. Yes. It's work to be a housemaid. Yes, you pay them. At least they learn how to take care of the house. Some people will say, a lot of people will argue that having a housemaid is bad. No. It's not totally bad. Sometimes a career woman, you can't be at home to do all the house chores and everything. And that is why we call them necessary evil sometimes, that you have to take. But you have to take precaution. I've always imagined it. First of all, I don't trust men. You understand? I don't trust men in any way. That is me. I don't trust any men. Don't allow housemaid to prepare your husband meal. One of the things that you have to do, you understand, is as a lady, is not to allow them prepare your husband's meal. To avoid story that touch, some of these ladies, they will prepare your husband's meal and you don't know what substance they can put your husband something. That will turn. We are in Africa, we do all these things very well. You don't know the kind of substance that they will put inside his meal and it will turn his eyes. In fact, no matter how beautiful you are, your husband will not see you again. No. He will not see the beauty. The beauty will just turn to one old mama. If you don't care, it will turn to one old mama. That's the old mama that she will see. You will be seeing. And it's the house help that you will now be seeing as the big, the beautiful, the porero, the loving now of his life because of whatever substance that he has eaten. Yes, we are in Africa. Africa, we are full of, we have all this magic that we can do. So don't allow housemaids to prepare your husband's meal. And another thing you have to do in taking house help, if you want to take house help, have it at the back of your mind. Number one, You will not allow your house help or housemaid to make your husband smile. If you really love your husband, though, that you don't want your husband to become another person's husband. You understand? So, and another thing is to ask God for help. Seek God first in whatever you want to do. Ask God to lead you in taking the house help. And another thing is, don't allow unnecessarily familiarity between the housemaid and your husband. Don't be too uptight, because when you are too uptight, you're supposed to say, hey, my husband. Sometimes what they are not thinking about, you are the one that will make them think about it. Yes, don't say I did not tell you. Don't say tells you this now. The only thing is just that you don't allow unnecessary familiarity. Don't allow it between the housemaid and the husband. Create a boundary. Set boundaries. You understand? Set boundaries between the housemaid and your husband. Your husband is the head of the family. You know that he's the head of the family. He's the one that knows, as after God is your husband, and he must be accorded the right and due respect in the house. And the housemaid must follow suit too. You understand? Don't allow unnecessary familiarity between the housemaid and your hubby. Most importantly, and with all modesty, satisfying your husband sexually. Yes, that is where we have come to. A lot of women, a lot of women don't allow their husband to have nice time with them each time the husband wants to. Some of them, because they are career women, the next thing you heard is, oh, I'm tired. Oh, what is it? I've gone out since morning. What is it now? Is it food? Is it this? Is it that? Please don't leave me alone. I want to sleep. You can, I've gone out since morning to fend for what we are going to. At least I want to be a supportive woman. My dear, you are gradually sending your husband out. And sometimes the husband will be in congee. You understand? He will be in congee and wants to make love. You understand? And here you are, not ready to give your husband that which he likes so much. Do you understand? And before you know it, the husband is out. And here is him in your housemate's room. Before you know it, one thing will lead to another, and they will start something. So please, most importantly, and with all modesty, please satisfy your husband sexually. I will say satisfy him. Make sure you satisfy him. Yes, a lot of people will say, even after you satisfy them, their mind will still go somewhere. No, I want to tell you. Let me tell you something. One of the things that will keep your husband coming back to you is if you know how to satisfy him in bed very well. No matter how he goes out, he will always come back to you and feel that, my wife is at home. I can bet it with you, yes. Although they can do shakara sometimes, they want to, but somehow at the back of their mind, they know that my wife is there. That sometimes that they will even sleep with another woman outside. You understand? They will regret after it, and they will why did I even do this one? They will blame themselves at the end of it all, and they will my wife's own is even better, times 1,000,000 times than this. So that's why you don't have to. That's topic for another day anyway. Make it look to any man that will look at you and still have feelings for your housemaid to be insane. Yes. Make it look to any man that you are with, that will look at your housemaid and still have feelings for that housemaid to be insane. You understand? There's no time he looks at you and looks at, he cannot even say, Am I mad? Why will I go for housemaid? No. You understand? But even some unattractive housemaids are not enough to keep some random men at bay. Yes, there's no doubt about that. Some random men, even some housemaids that are not as beautiful as their wives, when they are randy, they sleep with anything in skirt and setting. So while some husbands find their housemates attractive, that leads us to why some men find their housemates attractive. Because some unattractive housemates to randy men is not enough to keep them at bay. Now, this is where the issue of psychologists came. I've explained the reason for some sexual escapade between husband and wife. Their housemaid may be deeper than many people think. When some women relinquish some of their matrimonial duties to housemaid, it gets to a stage when the brain of the husband separates the personality of the individual, which is housemate, from the individual, which is the housewife. You understand? When you relinquish all your duties to your housemaid in the house, sometimes the husband will want to the husband wants to hit. When the husband is crying, it's the housemaid that will be there. When the husband needs attention, it's the housemaid that will be there. The wife is nowhere to be found. You don't relinquish all your duty to housemaid. Be available in your home. Be available in your home. Be available in your home. Don't be too far from your husband. If such a man does not rein in his sexual urge, he will start to see the housemaid as a female too. When the wife is not there, the husband will be at home. Maybe he closes from work early and is home. The wife is nowhere to be there. Career women, all this egbe kiloko she, you understand? And he wants to do this, is the housemaid that is there. He wants to do that, is the housemaid that is there. In their brain, they begin to see the housemaid as a female. You understand? As a female who they can relate with. And from there, feelings develop. And from there, it started, you look beautiful today. It's like tickling the housemaid. Oh, God, stop it now. From there, they enter the room. From there, they are on the bed. From there, something leads to another. And you put one and two together. Before you know it, you started sleeping with each other. So, and this who has all the characteristics of a good wife and will be satisfy him who call it as the wife. So as a woman, you have to be very, very careful. Make sure you are always there. The housemaid can equally satisfy him like his wife, and not like the young lady who is in the house for duties. To you, is only in the house for domestic duties, but for now, the husband has seen her as someone that he can sleep with, and it usually boils down to the fact that the wife is not readily available at the home and the housemaid is always there. So please and please be readily available at the home. Be at the home front. Don't put your maid at the home front. You understand? If the housemaid does all the work, cleans the bedroom, and often prepares the food for the man of the house, if he also feels deprived sexually, it will get to a time when the man will begin to see the housemaid as the alternative. You understand? Sorry. And when it comes to the issue like that, the man is not seeing the lady as the housemaid anymore, but just another female who can give him sexual satisfaction. You know, there is probably fire on the mountain. There is fire on the mountain. Sometimes the husband sleeps with the housemaid, even when she's very, very young. Women should bear it in mind and ensure that the housemaid do not do everything in the house to the point of replacing them. Women, please make sure that the housemaid does not do everything in the house to the point of replacing you in the house. Don't let the housemaid go beyond their boundaries, please, when it has to do with duties at home. So psychologists said that they made it known to us, that made us understood that sex is a psychological need, just like food. You understand? Every woman needs to understand this. Sex is a psychological need, just as food to men. So every woman needs to put this at the back of their mind. Availability and compatibility between husband and wife is very important in a marriage. In a situation whereby the wife is a career woman and loves her job more than the home, loves her job more than the home, the need for sex will be triggered in the man, especially if the stimuli is present in the housemaid. If the husband is not a strong-willed man or one with dignity, or one he would sleep with the house help when the wife is not around. The moment the thought surfaces in the mind of a man, two personalities structured came in, and the idea will trigger it, which is the house, pushing the man to go and do it, while the ego will come there and say you need sex. You understand? The husband will be like, okay, the ego will be like, you need sex, man, you need to do this, do it now. This is somebody that is readily available, and before you know it, he will sleep with the housemaid. This is the lady. Why not simply do it with her? But if the husband is the one that have super ego, which is gentle and cautious, comes in and say, don't do this thing. What if she gets pregnant? It's the husband that is struggling with through this thought. What if she, or your wife comes in now? But if the strong will is not there, you understand, the ego will dominate the super ego, and the man goes ahead to communicate and to commit the act. You have to realize that there are, stakeholders in this type of situation. The wife is one, while the husband is another. The house help too is also a stakeholder in this matter. So because she has an ambition, the house help probably wants to be madam too of the house. And when the husband does that, you understand, the housemaid has nothing to lose. It's just like, okay, let me sleep with my oga. At least that will give her freedom. Some of them are needy and from a poor homes and are just looking for a break in life. Don't forget that. They have ambitions too, and they grab any opportunity that comes their way. Assist them to fulfill their ambition by staying off your husband, by allowing them to be at the forefront of your house. You give them that opportunity, and they are ready to grab it at any slightest mistake. There is need for husband and wife to create time for their sexual duties, to create time for a mutual understanding between themselves. You understand? In conclusion, husband and wife need to create time for their sexual duties. Problem always arise when man does not get the sexual satisfaction that he gets. Most of the time it's dissatisfaction. They will try to look for an avenue to express their fantasies. Men are full of fantasies. When they see a lady, a female, they want to fulfill their fantasies. And women, you must desist from you must restrain yourself from pretending about your sexual prowess. You don't want to be labeled as these girls too. You have to desist from that. Please, from your sexual prowess. Is your husband. Let him know. Do it anyhow with him so that his head, when he's not with you, is thinking about you. You understand? He's thinking about you. Let your husband know your sexual prowess, because you don't want to be labeled promiscuous. You are not doing mommy and daddy missionary alone. No, you have to let your husband knows how capable you are. And lastly, on this issue, the right communication is very, very important. Right communication between husband and the wife is key. Right communication is very, very important. There's nothing wrong in a husband telling his wife that he does not enjoy how she is doing it. And there's nothing wrong in the wife telling the husband that I don't enjoy how you're doing it. Be able to communicate with your husband. You understand? And as husband and wife, you need to discuss sex. You need to discuss it all. It's part of your matrimonial responsibility. As husband and wife, you need to discuss sex. Sex is one of the more fundamental pillars of any marriage. You understand? And it's not something that you should be shy about. Discuss it with your spouse. Discuss it with your partner. Don't pretend about it. Pretense will not take you anywhere in your marriage. Pretense will not take you anywhere in your home. Desist from pretending totally. Show your husband your sexual prowess. Show your husband, show your wife your sexual prowess. Don't hide anything about it. Communication is key, is the bedrock of any relationship, is the bedrock of any marriage. That is all for today on this live session. Until the next time when I come your way, my name is Donsin, Mama Street of Streetwise TV. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share, like, and your comments is very, very important to us. Give us your feedback. God bless you as you join this live broadcast session. Until next time when I come your way, I remain my own self. Don't say, Ire o.